Hey guys, long time no hear. I've been kind of busy, but I wanted to get up on here and talk about the horse that has been probably beaten a few times this week, and that is the story of Latasha Mercado, and not just her, but she's been she's been getting hers. If you don't know who she is the woman that I think was on TikTok talking in such a cruel way about SNAP benefit recipients. I was cleaning the house and I walked by this TikTok video that was on YouTube. And I'm just cleaning the house and I hear this woman get up here on this TikTok and talk about how basically she's a Christian, but she was happy that SNAP benefit recipients were losing their benefits, some of them. She claimed to be Christian. She said that if it was her, she would get 3 jobs to feed her children, although she doesn't actually have custody of her children. She blamed the people who would be losing their benefits for not stocking up their pantry. And then, she said that they ate processed food. That's probably why they didn't have enough food in their pantry saved. And then she was eating toast in their face and with peanut butter on it and saying, what'd you do with your benefits in October that they can't be held over into November? Man, I'm telling you, I spoke with somebody afterwards and they said, send in the flood. Send in the flood. Send in the flood. And I agreed. Because for one, she seemed to be bragging about how frugal she was. And I think that we can all agree that putting peanut butter and butter on one piece of bread is more than one needs to do. You can pick peanut butter or butter and actually be more frugal than what you thought you were. And then just her thinking, and I've gone around hearing other women that think like this, men too, not just women, but for the most part, the videos I was listening to were women's videos, just spewing stereotypes that are not supported by facts and were more rooted in racism. The facts state, especially from the Food Research and Action Center, that the participants in SNAP are 35% white to 26% black, with 17% being unknown, which means that 17% can be added to either category. Women were speaking as if they have never had a hard time in their life, like low wages, corporate greed, legislation that is clearly not funding enough social programs and giving more money to foreign countries for war. This is how these women were speaking. They used no data. They didn't look at pie charts. They didn't look at the fiscal year SNAP benefits for 2024, because if they had, they would have seen that the federal spending is only 1.5% of the entire budget. That's what they were on TikTok squawking about. As if that 1%, which by the way looks like a sliver, was somehow worse. It was worse spent than giving, I don't know, weapons to people who go murder other people and go murder children, that those benefits to Americans somehow put out them in such a way that the country just will collapse. It was so embarrassing to hear the logic of these grown women that I started thinking about, well, where does that come from? And, a lot of it is stereotype. A lot of it is, hey, I'm this type of woman and I just don't like that type of woman. So I'm going to latch on to pathetic reasoning skills in order to substantiate my claim. And that's just what it is. But in Latasha's case, I felt like it was Stockholm syndrome. That's just my opinion. After listening to Latasha and other women, and I know that the claim of Stockholm syndrome is a big one, because basically, you know, the idea is that you are in love with your abuser. That when people abuse you, when they put you down underneath their foot, you like it. When other people, uh, after you've done everything right, have caused you to earn low wages, have gouged the price of your food, have created a gap between what you are bringing in versus what things cost. And now it's beyond the little choices you're making. It truly is very much in the hands of other people that are making your life a living hell. Instead of pulling together with other people that are poor just like you, right? You choose to identify with the person who's making your life a living hell. That is what Stockholm Syndrome is about. And a lot of these women up here, they speak exactly like that. There are so many other reasons besides being lazy and sitting on your ass that people need SNAP benefits. There is loss of job. There is low wages. There is death in the family. There are hospital stays that put you out. There are just so many other reasons. And the fact that women, like I said, I can say men too, but I watched mostly women videos, would divorce also. Divorce and then having a drop of income. There are so many other reasons as to why people don't have enough food to eat. The fact that women will just latch onto whatever they want it to be versus whatever it really is just so disgusting. And the collateral damage in these cases are children, especially for the Christians that go around bragging about being Christian. In Matthew, the scripture says, do not hurt the children. It's better to tie the millstone around your neck and throw yourself into the ocean than to hurt the children. There's no stipulation as to what hurt means. I can promise you right now for a fact that children not eating, all children, regardless of what skin color they are, regardless if you think their parents did enough in life to satisfy your desires to beat them upside the head with it. Children shouldn't have to worry about where their next meal is going to come from. Now, one might say, oh, well, that's the parent's job. Yes, it is. But also, when the parents can't do it, that's where we're supposed to be, we, the United States, at least as charitable as we claim that we are towards other nations. You have to ask yourself, well, why would we be more charitable with outsiders than we would with our own? And if you're a Christian, you know that Jesus shared the bread and the fish. Okay? He did. He shared and broke bread with regular people that were hungry, and he broke bread with tax collectors. See, when you have Stockholm Syndrome, you identify with people that are not closely related to you in circumstance, but the people that actually hurt you the most, the people that don't want you near them. They don't want you in their class. They don't even care if you have the same skin color as them. They think they're better than you, but you aspire to be them because of what they possess, that you can't see, you're blinded, that they don't want you to be them. The games that are being played here are not that intricate. But to someone who's suffering from Stockholm Syndrome, someone who has an overwhelming amount of cognitive dissonance, and let's be real, we even have well-known therapists whose mind is just shattered now. I've seen them. not just recently, but in the past myself, personal experiences, because they just cannot understand that what you do must be in line with what you say. So, right now, that's what I heard a lot of. Hey, I love kids, but I'm going to starve kids. Hey, um, well, I worked 3 jobs. Why can't they get 3 jobs? But you didn't like working the 3 jobs. You could barely do it. Well, I skipped 10 meals. Why can't they skip 15? You're vitamin deficient. You haven't gone outside in days. You have a sneering mouth. Your hair is wispy. And you look like or the wind can blow you over. But you want other people to have that abuse. You want other people to live with that. Why? Because it makes you feel like it was worth living? No. Then why are you looking up to and identifying with the people often who cause that? Because it's not all the individual choices that circumstances go bad. Sometimes it is the individual's choice, and sometimes there are circumstances beyond that person's choice that lead them to be poor. But what's really going on here is people's own Stockholm syndrome being used against them in a zero-sum game. The zero-sum game of one win and one loss that will be turned into a positive sum game for a political party. Okay? And I really hope that you understand what I'm saying. When the children lose, they lose their food. They lose their justice. So some old crotchety people can preserve the silence needed to continue abusing those children. So some people can feel like the budget was preserved while knowing that SNAP benefits are a sliver of the budget compared to the military department. When we keep doing things like that, just know that you are not helping anybody like you to win. You are engaging in self-hate. You are helping people to enrich themselves that don't even like you. Okay? There was a documentary I watched. It was called Born Rich. It was from 2003. So, more than 20 years at this point. I watched it a long time ago. Somebody asked me to. It was written, I think, by the heir to the Johnson and Johnson family. What always stood out in that video, many things did, in that documentary. There was talks about how a lot of the wealthy people do not like Black people. That is not a mystery to me, okay? But I had other ideas about them. In them, I mean the wealthy that were in the documentary. But one that stood out was, I think it's Ivanka Trump. She was talking about how she thought her dad was a genius because one day he was going into the hotel, I believe, and there was a homeless man on the floor, on the sidewalk. And the way she told this story, I'm paraphrasing, she was saying that, look, Dad, don't you feel bad for him? He's on the floor. I don't know if she wanted to give the guy in his cup some money. I don't remember. I haven't seen this for years. The point is that Trump, she said, in her words, the daughter said, please, he's doing better than I am. And she said that she could not at first understand what he was saying, but then later she found out how genius he was. And I assume that's because whatever was in the cup was more positive than what was the debt that he was accruing, probably. And then she said that later on, she just knew her dad was a genius. But I understood mathematically what she was saying. But then I said, well, he didn't take much time to give context or find the context of that guy's scenario. Um, and he turned it around and made it about him. Now, that documentary is from 2003. That and other people, not just Donald Trump. Kamala Harris with her bacon story when she was on the campaign trail. I know that she thought it was a wholesome story to tell. I don't think that you should talk about the bacon that you eat while other people are starving, though. I already said that in a video. And then Nancy Pelosi around COVID, making sure she got her hair cut while other people had to grow theirs out because they couldn't go to a hairdresser. And then she was also sure to make sure she opened her freezer, her Sub-Zeros, to show us all the ice cream that she could enjoy. I bring these examples up, right? They even had an example today. There was an article released about Bill Gates' daughter that they believe that they raised her to be, grounded. But her first apartment at 26 was a $51 million apartment that she bought in New York. Yeah, that sounds about as grounded as the harvest that comes out of the earth, doesn't it? Listen, these are people that play games at your expense. I don't care what skin color you are. I don't care what gender you are. Not knowing that, it is putting the kids in the future at a disadvantage, just so your pride can feel like it's closer to the thing that's abusing you. We need to stop doing that.